Hey guys, it's me again, Dunwall Dev. I'm back with another video, and today's video is going to be a lot different. All right, we're going to continue these vlogs pretty soon here. It's just really cold outside, and I don't want to risk my camera getting damaged by the cold. In today's video, I want to talk about gaming. Not necessarily gaming as in like what's new, what's out, but kind of like my personal journey through it and how it changed my life. And for starters, we got to go way back to the PlayStation 1 that I received at 3 years old. And the games that I remember on it were a lot of Disney games. It was Bugs Life, Lilo and Stitch, Emperor's New Groove. But the top two that I will always remember were Spyro and Crash. I owned all 5 Crashes on the PlayStation 1, and I owned all 3 Spyros on the PlayStation 1. And I remember back in the days before kindergarten and even preschool, I would play it before catching the bus. During that time, it was really difficult to get new titles because I always stuck to like one kind of mascot, you could say, to where my parents didn't really get me new titles because they just saw the titles I had and said, "Here, you're good." So it was rare to get new games. I remember times going into Sears and EB Games and Kmart, if you guys still remember that, and just looking at that glass display case thinking, wow, look at that cover. Wow, that looks super cool. Because during the time, we couldn't really look up anything about games at all. We kind of had to judge the game based on its cover. I know they say don't judge a book by its cover, but when it came to video games, that's the only option you had. You know, you see a game, you look at it, you look on the back, maybe you read the description, but as a kid, I didn't read it. I just looked by the pictures and figured, oh yeah, this looks fun. I'll get it. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to enjoy that game regardless. So yeah, Crash and Spyro were really near and dear to me and still are till this day. After receiving the PS1 came the PS2. And during the time, it was really ahead of its time. It had USBs. Like I didn't even know what USBs were till way later in life. And you could play DVDs and play CDs. Like I think you could even connect to the internet too. And that was just something that like every household had. Like no one had DVD players. Everyone had a PS2. I know during its time, I played a lot of WWE 2007 as Jeff Hardy and, you know, following that damn train in that San Andreas mission with CJ and Big Smoke. Crash to Insanity was really nice too. Sly Cooper, that was a really nice stealth like platform game. And I thought that was super cool. It's a shame it didn't really take off like how we should. I think Tekken 3 was a game that I played a lot at the arcade. And to know that I could play Tekken 4 and 5 at home on a console made it like super fun. After the PS2 came the PlayStation Portable for me. And I know I'm going to say this in a lot of the upcoming consoles I'm going to mention, but I spent a lot of hours on that. Just of its capability of putting in your pocket and taking it everywhere you go made it very memorable. And it was around middle school too. And what's crazy, a little story about that is I remember other kids would have PlayStation Portables that they would have on the bus. And as I got older and realized more about life in middle school, it made me realize that I should not play the PlayStation Portable with others around. And when I say that, a prime example would be, I remember on the bus, I wanted to play it, but it was a rowdy bus, and I think I could hold off 20 minutes not playing it with other kids around. I remember this one kid that was playing it in the front of the bus. He was always in the back, so he got an assigned seat to the front of the bus. And what happened? Someone from the back of the bus ran up to the front, snatched it from his hand, and ran back. He was yelling at the bus driver, cursing at the bus driver, pull over, he has my PSP. no one's leaving this bus until I get my PSP. And that made me realize, okay, just keep it in your backpack, don't take it out, and just enjoy the ride, you know? It was like getting your gold chain snatch in a bad neighborhood. Like, you gotta tuck it in, you know, you gotta hide your stuff. You know, you don't wanna play it to show off. You wanna play it for your enjoyment, but you gotta know when to play it, you know? So this is the part in the video where I first branched off into another console. I never heard of anyone owning both a PlayStation, an Xbox, and a Nintendo console till I received a DS Lite. And to have a DS Lite and PSP, it felt like really cool just to have two consoles on the go. And I remember playing a bunch of Pokemon on the DS, like a lot. And I remember getting teased for playing it in middle school, but I'm sure those kids wish they bought it now. Heck, knowing that Pokemon has just evolved and got bigger than it was back in middle school. I think the difference between the DS and the PSP was the PSP was like that edgy handheld console where like you would have your Axe body spray and your Rockstar Monster energy drink with that. Like, that was just what the typical norm for like a middle schooler was, like the PSP, where the DS was like, oh, you play that? Why don't you get a PSP? And I'm like, it's just as enjoyable, you know? Like, if I want to play Cooking Mama, let a man play Cooking Mama. I'm just saying. It's crazy enough to think that I still remember the first shiny I ever caught, and it was a Wingull. And I didn't know about shinies then. I really didn't. I just caught it and was like, whoa, what the heck is this thing? And man, if you know, you know, the action replay, man, it was bigger than a cheat code. I just don't know how to like describe it. Like catching trainers Pokemon and catching without fail, 999 rare candies. Man, I mean like, but the games now, like Pokemon games now, you don't even need that. You can just get any Pokemon you want, any level you want, just like that. But yeah, after the DS, it came the Nintendo Wii. And I remember my dad trying to get it for me, going to a lot of Best Buys, Targets to get, because it was just sold out. But it wasn't as bad as you thought to not obtain it, because receiving a PS5 during COVID or during a pandemic, that was difficult. Receiving a Wii during that time was like, how did you get this? Where did you get this? You know, to my knowledge, I didn't hear of anybody pre-ordering a console. That wasn't a thing. You just had to get lucky and get a Wii. Either call and see if you can come pick it up, because I don't think they're reserved any unless you're lucky. I remember my dad giving me one a couple months after its release, and I was just crying like, oh my God, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, first thing I did was plug in Wii Sports. And I remember playing a lot, and I mean a lot, of Super Smash Bros. Brawl. And if you know, you know. Meta Knight? Oh my gosh. Hi-ya-ya-ya. He was hard. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games was a really, really cool title, and a cool crossover I thought was just really fun. So from the Nintendo Wii came Christmas in 2009, where I saw this big box, and I thought, oh my goodness, is it a PS3? Opened it up. What do you know? It's an Xbox 360. And I wasn't mad about it at all. I wanted to try it just to see what it's like. Because, you know, I mean, you get a console, you got to be grateful for it. And I was really happy to get it. I'm like, whoa, a 360. It's a next-gen console, so I was happy with it. I remember playing a lot of Assassin's Creed on it. Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, Revelations. Oh, man, Ezio, best assassin. Really, really is a great assassin. Great story, too. I loved it. That's why they made him a trilogy. He was really that guy. The Xbox 360 made me realize that I could just download games straight to my console. And I am just building up this stack of just physical copies, which I'm really happy I did. But during the time from having the console for a few years, made me realize, wait, I can just download this game and it's here? Like, I don't have to go to the store? What? And then I made some new friends on there. Oh man, if you know, you know, Call of Duty lobbies during the 360 era. Whew, you gotta have tough skin for that. Really. One thing about the 360 is because of that console, I attended my first midnight release, and it was Gears of War 3. And I remember my dad taking me on a school night to go pick up the game. And my dad, he was a strict guy, I'm not gonna lie. It was just amazing to know that my Caribbean dad took me on a school night to GameStop. It was kind of cool though for the midnight release because they had pizza and Nas energy drinks, and I'm just like, oh yeah, this is it right here. You know, man, midnight releases now don't hit like they did back then, I tell you. After the 360 came the PS4. And if you know me, you know of the many hours I played playing Overwatch. Like, there was a time I was the best tracer in Minnesota. I'm sorry. I had to say it. Like, if I was Mercy, you're not dying. All right, if I'm Reinhardt, just get behind my shield, push the payload, we're good. Guaranteed win. But, you know, then I got to playing ranked matches and, whew, my toxic side kept coming out. I'm like, oh, I got to put this down. Got to come back with a clear head. Just relax. And then from the PS4, it also had remasters of Crash and Spyro, which I had to get. You know, just take my money, give it to me. I needed it. That was a lot of fun to play. Then from stacking up a bunch of different consoles and different titles, it was like crack. You know, you get one, you want more. You try this, you want to try that. And it was cool because even during that time, I ended up getting an Oculus Rift. And VR was just so cool to know that I could enter a world at a bar and drink with someone in like Ireland on a Tuesday afternoon. Like, wow, like you can be right here sitting next to someone in a different country. Then staying with the topic for gaming came figurines such as amiibos, Funko Pops, and even keeping sealed games as decorations. Some people may not like it and think, oh, games are meant to be played, but if you buy it, do whatever you want with it, you know, go crazy. You know, I'm really glad to know with all the consoles I mentioned, I know I'm missing some too. I enjoy every minute of it, you know? As I get older, there's going to be a realization that my gaming love is going to be cut short, and for some people it has stopped. But those are memories that you look back at and say, hey, I did it. You know, some may think, hey, it's a waste of time, waste of money. I think it's money and time well spent, you know? I'm not doing drugs, right? Right? That's something. But it made me realize that time is money. You know, it has taught me that a lot. When I say that, for example, if I buy this new $60 game, will I get my money's worth playing it? I gotta think. Like, will I just play this game one time and never play it again? That's a waste. If I can enjoy this game for weeks, months, or even years, oh yeah, definitely. I remember going to the pawn shop and picking up Fable 2 last year for $3. And the hours I spent on that alone, heck, that was a steal. I couldn't pass that up. So that's what I mean by you gotta look at time as money when it comes to gaming, utilizing how much you spend on a game and making sure you get your time worth from that game. I do know that as I get older, a lot of people do have a falling out with games. I remember certain times that I would bring my Nintendo Switch over to people's houses and they would say, oh, I used to play Super Smash Bros. I can whoop anybody. I'm really good at this, but they never touched it in years. Same thing with like Mario Kart, for instance. You know, they try the new Mario Kart and it's like a whole new world to them that they enjoy. So I'm really glad I can put that back to that nostalgia for them to make them think back of, oh my gosh, this is so fun. I remember playing this. I mean, I think I got some of my friends to even get Nintendo Switches too from trying mine. You know, as you get older as an adult, you realize that with responsibilities and just adulting, you may not be able to have that same feel of how gaming was as a kid. Mainly because we were kids. You know, as we get older, we realize that a lot of the hobbies we like, we have to cut short of it. And for some people, it's stopped. I want to thank you for watching the live streams, as it motivates me to keep playing games even though I'm super tired getting off work. And it motivates me not to take a nap after a long day at work too. You know, from just gaming after work and uploading, it's something I can look back to after the lives are posted. That way, in case I were to have to cut playing video games more in the future, I can always look back at my gameplay and think, man, look at me struggling in Elden Ring. Oh, yeah. But if you stayed till the end, I appreciate it a lot. More videos to come. Stay tuned for more. And we'll see you guys in the next video. I don't know when that'll be, but keep your post notifications on for when it drops. Until then, enjoy your day, like and subscribe for more, and we'll see you in the next video.